And pleased to be amongst you here tonight, my brothers and sisters. And the topic, as the brother has presented, in fact, it's such a very interesting topic for me. It's one of my very favorite topics to talk about, marriage. How many of you are married? It's an honest question. How many are happy? So, alhamdulillah. Are you married or happy? It does not mean that if you're either married or happy. It's just a title to, oh, alhamdulillah. I think he just needed that, the barakah. Okay, alhamdulillah. So, are you married or happy? The thing is, it shouldn't mean that if you are married, you're not happy. You see? It's, like I said, it just, inshallah ta'ala, maybe just something to trigger some interest and some thoughts. So, inshallah, let me show you there's an agenda. I'm going to talk about several things. I'm going to talk about the definition of marriage in Islam. Okay? We'll talk about the ingredients on how to improve your relationship with your spouse. Inshallah ta'ala. I'm going to make it so practical that you have to take some notes. I do not expect you to memorize everything I say tonight, but at least if you take one or two things to try to implement and practice, inshallah ta'ala, I'm a winner. You know, we're going to try to follow everything tonight's presentation is as per the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Everything I talk about, it's either Quran or Sunnah, or of course, experiences of people who've been in this business for so many years, the business of marriage. But first, I will talk about something quite interesting. I read a book, a very interesting book. This book is called Why Men Don't Listen, and Why Women Cannot Read Maps. It's a very interesting book. This book explains the psychological differences between men and women. And I wish I had read that book before I got married. Wallah, it's so interesting that teaches you the psychological differences. Why men act certain ways, why women talk certain ways, why women act certain ways. It's such a very interesting topic. So that's what I'm going to start with, inshallah ta'ala. It's called Married or Happy Malaysia. That one right there. I have customized it for you. Because I know, mashallah, you Malaysians have such a very soft heart, very kind heart. So I'm going to try to make it so cool and easy for you, inshallah ta'ala. طيب. Inshallah, setting the differences, and here we're going to talk about the psychological differences. Marriage. What's marriage? Is it a word? Is it a sentence? Is it a life sentence? Meant to be a joke. I don't know, you guys. The 5 languages of love. A very interesting concept. Please, if you don't understand me, because sometimes I don't make sense, just tell me, Sheikh, please repeat, or please speak Malay and I will try. The 4 A's of marriage. The ingredients of a successful marriage. I'll give you about 20 points on how to make it such a practical, inshallah ta'ala, marriage. And some romance tips, some tips on how to be romantic. Don't tell me it's, I'm too old. Ya akhi, are you better than Rasulullah? I'm going to take the examples of the Prophet ﷺ. I'm going to, ways to say I love you. We brothers, we have a problem saying it, aren't we? We can't say it. It's just, they know. We don't have to tell them. But Rasulullah didn't do so. The Prophet used to tell Aisha. He said, Wallahi inni la uhibbuka ya Aisha. Wallahi, he used to say, by Allah, I love you, O Aisha, O Khadija. So, ways to say I love you. If you have a problem, we're going to fix it tonight, inshallah. And then that's it, inshallah ta'ala. Setting the differences. So let's talk about the psychological differences. And normally this topic takes, or this exercise, or this lecture, takes about 2 to 3 hours. Sometimes I do it like about 4 hours, half a day. I'm going to try to summarize everything into what, 50, 45 minutes? 50, 35, 50, 50, inshallah. Setting the differences. Here's how I'm going to summarize it for you. Imagine the brain of a man versus the brain of women, okay? The brain of a man and the brain of women. Brain, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, are made of boxes. Just imagine with me. These brains are made of boxes. So there is a box called work. And there is a box called money. And there is a box called wife, husband. There is a box called children. Well, just a bunch of boxes out there, right? For us men and sisters, you need to understand this. For us men, if you want a man to talk about marriage, or to talk about work, or to talk about money, he pulls the box that talks about money. He talks about money and then he puts it back. If you want him to talk about work, he pulls a box called work. He talks about it and then he puts it back. These boxes, ladies and gentlemen, are not interconnected, which means that we men are not multitasked, generally speaking. We cannot do two things at a time. If you are driving a car, brothers, right, and you're listening to the radio, and then your phone rings, what would be the first thing you would do? Turn off the radio, isn't it? Why? Because we cannot drive and listen to the radio and talk on the phone. We can't do that. The sisters, mashallah, tabarakallah, they can. Not only that, she can talk to you, she can talk to her children, and she can cook, and she can watch TV, and she can talk on the phone, and she can do all this at the same time, and she's listening to you talking to your friend. They are multitask, mashallah, tabarakallah. Allah has blessed them with this power. You see, this is the thing. These boxes are all interconnected. Their boxes, their brain. Us, we are not. You see this brother who's driving me, I noticed, I thought it may be just us, but even in Malaysia it works. This guy's driving me around, and then I tried to talk to him so many times, he missed the exit. He said, Shaykh, you're talking to me, I'm trying to drive. I cannot do two things at a time. You see, we have to understand. We need to understand this. It's very important. And ladies, this is for you. We have a very interesting box in our brain. This box is called the empty box. It's got nothing in it. And it's our very favorite box. We love it. Our empty box. So sister, when you see your husband sitting like this and doing like, watching TV, like he's not even listening to nothing. He's into his empty box. Give him time. He needs it. He needs to be spaced out. And he enjoys it. Sometimes you go, I don't know if people go fishing here, or you can go with your friend fishing sometimes, or you just go, driving. Two brothers going driving. They could be going driving like he's driving for 2 hours without saying one single word to one another. And they're fine. They're really fine. If women, they were to look at us and say, they're fighting. They have a problem. We have no problem. We're okay. Sometimes we can do that. For them, they can't. They have to. In fact, you see one bunch of sisters together, they're sitting, they're talking, and she's talking, and you're talking at it, and then she can be talking to her, and all of a sudden, no, that's not right. She's talking here, and then she's listening there. MashaAllah, tabarakallah, this is how they are. We have to understand these psychological differences. Men are women, and women are very much different in so many ways. Women, like I said, they can be multitask versus men who cannot. Women, they talk through their issues. Women talk through their issues. Men, in fact, they are more of task-oriented. They're less talkative than women. Men focus on one thing at a time. When I do something, there's one lady, she says, whenever she wants something from her husband, and then she wants to, like her husband didn't want to give her what she wanted, and then she just wants to hurt him. What does she do? She waits, enter her husband is like doing some work, like he's taking a screw and they're trying to nail it. And then she goes and she talks to him. He hits himself because he cannot do that and then listen to her. Or when her husband starts shaving, may Allah forgive, there's some people who shave, and then she goes and she talks to him, then her husband cuts himself. Why? Because he cannot shave and listen to her at the same time. You understand? Men focus on one thing at a time. Women, they mature much faster than men. It's scientifically proven. Women, mashallah, tabarakallah, they mature much faster than men. You know, you have a daughter. Anybody who has a daughter here? A baby, like a daughter? How old was she when she started talking? 2.5. 2.5. Normally like 1, 2.5, 2, 3, they start talking. Boys, maybe 5 years old and he's still, you know. And then you find, mashallah, tabarakallah, a 15, 16-year-old girl, she acts like a arosa, you know, versus a 17-year-old boy, he's still playing with his nose, you know. He's still doing some weird stuff. He's not mature. You see, women, they tend to mature much faster than men. You know, women, they tend to communicate more effectively than men. So these are some of the important, psychological differences that we need to understand. With regard to the language, it's been said that there is this side in the brain that is responsible for the language. It is tend to be larger in that of women versus that of men. There is this side of the brain that is responsible for language. It tends to be larger in the brain of women versus that of men. No wonder why, mashallah, our sisters, women, they like to talk. Men, with regard to, let's say, mathematical abilities, there is a side of the brain responsible about mathematical abilities. It tends to be larger for men than that of women. That's why men, they perform better in terms of mathematical abilities than women. Scientifically proven. So we need to understand, like I said, these differences between men and women. For instance, a sister may tell her sister, can you come with me? Where? I'm going to the washroom. And then they go to the washroom, not to do something, they just go and talk. Washroom for them, or the restroom for them, is like a lounge. They just go and talk. I cannot tell you, buddy, what? Come with me. Where are you going? I'm going to the toilet. Come with me. Women don't do that. We don't act like that. So, you know, you have to understand these little things. If you understand this, then you will understand why sometimes your wife or your husband acts differently. Why sometimes, especially you have to understand brothers, you know, when they are going through the emotional change, especially during their labor, or especially during also their menses, they act differently. Why? Because of the hormone changes. You've got to understand that. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so much so that He told them, He in fact, He made it obligatory. You don't pray when you go into those menses. You don't pray. Why? It's even haram to pray. So much so, you have to understand why. Why did she act differently all of a sudden? Well, because of these hormone changes. There's a lot of chemistry out there that we have to understand so that we can build this foundation and then we can move forward. But we have to understand this foundation, you know, and which is the psychological differences. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, what is the definition of marriage in Islam? It's very interesting. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you may not see this, describes marriage in a very interesting way. If you look at the Quran. In Surah Al-Rum, ayah number 21, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَكُمْ مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. And amongst His signs is that He had put amongst you, or He had created amongst you, your mates. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ آيَاتٍ. And amongst His signs is that He had created amongst you mates so that you may dwell in tranquility. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا هِيَ سَكَنٌ لَهُ وَهُوَ سَكَنٌ لَهَا. Second, dwelling onto one another. وَجَعَلَ بَيْنَهُمَا مَوَدَّةً وَرَحْمَةً. And then He has put amongst them love, mawadda, and rahmah, and mercy. Why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mention, here He mentions love and then He mentions mercy? Why didn't He mention mercy and then love? First He says mawadda and then He says rahmah. Why? Even the Arabs, those who speak Arabic, they may not understand. But it's so interesting. You see, first, when He first, maybe, remember a long time ago, it may be painful to you, but don't mind me. I'm going to remind you 20, 30 years ago when you got married. Is that how long ago? Remember when you married first, you've had that intense love. Maybe you would talk on the phone for hours. Remember? And then you would go, and then before even the marriage, you would talk and talk, you sleep on the phone. And then you go to work, and then you call on the phone. Isn't it? You call it 3, 4, 5, 6 times. But what happened after the first week of marriage, the first month of marriage, what happened to that phone calls? What happened to that love? She would say, he used to call me almost 10 times a day when we first got married. A month, 2 months later, I don't hear from him no more. He only calls me to say, okay, what's for dinner tonight? What happened? Does that mean that there's no more love? La. That love has matured. Has matured to something deeper and stronger. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, mawadda ar-rahmah. Love and mercy. Comes mercy after that. He describes it in such a very beautiful way. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ. Ladies, brothers and sisters, give me Quran, أخي. جاب القرآن. Give me Quran, أخي, لو سمحت. I want to show you, understand this. Understand, because you read it so many times, but I want you to pay attention to this particular, ayah in Surah Al-Rum, ayah number 21. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, okay, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ. What are these? This is Quran. And what are these? What are these? Ayat. These are ayat. Ayat. The Quran. Can I throw the Quran? Can I throw the Quran? No. Can I step on the Quran? No. Haram. I can't do that. Quran is something to be venerated, to be respected. You take it, you have to be in wudu, you put it in the highest level in your place. You don't put it on the ground. Do you put it on the ground? No. Why? Because it's ayat. She is ayah. Allah says in Quran, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ. And amongst His signs is that He had created amongst you أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. Just like you respect the Quran and you respect the ayah, you have to respect your wife. You disagree? It's not me. It's Allah who says that in the Quran. It's Allah who said that in the Quran. وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ أَنْ خَلَقَ لَكُم مِّنْ أَنفُسِكُمْ أَزْوَاجًا. And then He mentions or describes her or describes this bondage. He gives it another name. He says, أَنْتُمْ هُنَّ سَكَنُ لَكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ سَكَنُ. They second onto one another. Second is a dwelling. لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا. A dwelling, second. From house. We house each other. We house one another. أَنْتُمْ لِبَاسٌ لَكُمْ وَهُنَّ. The libas. Libas, what is libas? Libas is garment. We are garment unto one another. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, we are garments. We are libas for one another. What are the characteristics of a garment? One of the characteristics of a garment is that the garment, it protects your awrah. It embellishes you. It makes you beautiful. It covers you. Gives you comfort. Likewise, we comfort one another. We protect one another. We embellish one another. You see, second, libas. نِسَاؤُكُمْ حَرْثٌ لَكُمْ فَأْتُوا حَرْثَكُمْ أَنَّ شِئْتُمْ. Harth in Arabic means a tilt. They are harth. You see all these beautiful names that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses in the Quran to describe this bondage between a man and a woman. 5 languages of love. Love. What's love? Hub. What is hub? Ibn al-Qayyim rahmatullah alayhi says, it made up of two letters. Ha-ab. Hub. Hub. Love. Ab. Sometimes you need ab. Be quiet. She's talking. She's complaining. You just, whatever you say. Hub. Shut it. You need that sometimes. Hub. Love. The 5 languages of love. Sometimes also something so interesting. And we need to understand this. People may give and receive love in very different ways. People may give and receive love in several ways and different ways. For instance, these 5 languages of love, you have something called words of affirmation. For me, sometimes, let's say, for me to know that you love me, if when you speak good to me, words of affirmation, you talk to me, you tell me about how beautiful I look. This is how I know that you love me. Words of affirmation. You need to understand your spouse's love language so that you can have a rapport with him or her. Maybe your husband, maybe your spouse understand another love language called receiving gifts. The more gifts you give me, the more I know that you love me. There's some people who are like that, receiving gifts. There is another love language called quality of time. The more time you spend with me, that's the indication for me that you love me. Or acts of service. Like when you wash the dishes for me, it really shows me that you love me. Or when you take the garbage out, that tells me that you love me. Acts of services. Or physical touch. When you hug me, when you touch me, this is a sign for me that you love me. So these are 5 languages of love. I talk about this in detail, like I said in my lecture about this, how to re-energize your marriage. I talk deeply about these 5 languages, and then I have a test really, like with questionnaires, to identify what's your love language. You need to know what's your love language so that you can speak, or that you can tell your wife how to speak to you, or maybe you can understand how your wife acts and then you can understand how you speak to her or whatnot. The 5 languages of love. The 4 A's of marriage. Brothers, I'm going to ask you a question. All right? What do women want off of marriage? I want somebody who's been married for like 60 years. And I don't think even that person will be able to tell me. What do women want off of marriage? What do they want? Love? Okay. Other than love? Security? Security, okay. That's it? Khalas, love, security? What else? Okay, sisters, you tell me. Every woman wants attention. Every woman wants affection. Every woman wants appreciation. Every woman wants acceptance. Sisters, I'm right or wrong? If I'm wrong, tell me that, Shaykh, you don't know nothing. Wrong? This is what you think, huh? Every woman, Shaykh, every woman, they want attention. Take it, you've been outside for, 12 hours, Allah knows. And she's been doing that job that you and I cannot do. Can you take care of your children for 1 hour? I challenge you. 2 hours, can you? Can you really take care of you? Can you babysit for 2 hours? I tried doing that. As soon as my wife left, I kept on calling. Help, please come back. I do anything for you, just come back. But we are made to go and work outside and do things outside. That's what we're made of. We're made to go and do something so hard. But the job inside for the children and whatnot, subhanAllah, see, this is the differences. So understand, when you're out there talking and then you come back home, she needs time. She needs attention. And affection. Habibati, my love, how do you say that in Malay? No? Sayed. Saya. Habibi. Habib. My Saya. My, however you want to say it. It's okay. My Saya. And for the men, the same thing, Saya. My Saya. Okay. Appreciation. Jazakallah khair. Thank you. Appreciation. I will talk more about this, inshallah ta'ala. And acceptance. She wants you to accept her for what she is. Not for what she has. Accept me for who I am. Maybe she used to have a teddy bear before she married you. And she used to love that teddy bear. She used to sleep with it. She left her teddy bear at home, and then she came to you, and then she found a real bear, you. So she needs attention, affection, appreciation, acceptance. Happy wife. A happy wife. So now, inshallah ta'ala, I'm going to share with you those practical elements quickly, inshallah, on how to improve your life with your spouse, bi'idhnillah. And this is for both husbands and wives. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to improve your relationship with your spouse, you need something called sabr. Oh, yes. Something called patience. Understood? Patience. Sabr. It's maybe for me, I'm a marriage officer. I'm a counselor. I'm licensed, alhamdulillah. And I go and I see people, they come to me sometimes for counseling. And I've noticed with my experience in this field, the highest rate of divorce tend to happen within the first year or 2 years of marriage. Why? Oftentimes, lack of patience. One sister came to me, she says she wants to divorce her husband. Why, sister? She says, my husband snores. Wallah, snores. I said, so what's wrong with that? She says, no, I don't take that. Sister, have some sabr, some patience. Inshallah ta'ala, maybe you'll get used to his snoring. It'll put you to sleep. Maybe you will love his snoring. Maybe someday, when you get used to it, say, honey, please snore. I love it. Patience, it's so important, especially within the first year of marriage. Sabr, sabr, sabr. I've seen and I've heard so much, and I can tell you and flood you with the stories, but maybe that's in some other time, inshallah ta'ala, because of lack of time. Exchanging gifts. Exchanging gifts. The Prophet ﷺ says in this hadith reported by Ahl Sunan, the hadith is sound, تهادوا تحابوا تهادوا تحابوا. In Arabic, تهادوا from hadiyah. Hadiyah in Arabic means a gift, a present. تهادوا تحابوا. Exchange gifts amongst one another. It will increase love amongst you. تهادوا, hadiyah. From time to time, it's all right. It's okay. But don't do like this brother who did this to his wife. Very bad. He went and he bought some flowers, Allah khair. He took the flowers to his wife, and then she says, oh, mashallah, this is nice. You thought about me? He says, yeah, they were on sale. You don't do that. They were on sale. It's not hadiyah from time to time. But ladies, brothers and sisters, what is worth that gift that you may present her or the man you give her if all she sees from you is bad treatment? Bad treatment. Curse. Swear, wal-iyadu billah, beating and whatnot, and then you come and you give her hadiyah. Wallah, she does not need that hadiyah. She needs your good manners. And he needs your good manners as well. So, from time to time, as the Prophet ﷺ used to do, tahadaw tahabbu, that will, insha'Allah ta'ala, improve your relationship with your spouse. Allocate time to sit with one another is extremely important. I know you're busy. I know we are all busy. But we have to allocate time to sit and talk to one another. Make time for each other. To talk about our issues. To talk about things. Just to say how you're doing. Just very simple things, insha'Allah ta'ala. Warm greetings. Like the Prophet ﷺ used to do whenever he used to come home. Assalamu alaikum, kayfa halukum. The Prophet ﷺ, whenever he used to come home, he used to tell his wives, Assalamu alaikum, kayfa halukum, ki hal hai, in Urdu. I don't know about Malay, but how are you? You could say it in English, you could say it in Malay, you could say it in any language, but Assalamu alaikum. And Umar ibn al-Khattab used to say, فَإِذَا سَلَّمْتُمْ فَأَسْمِعُوا. فَأَسْمِعُوا. When you say salam, let them hear salam. Because sometimes the husbands or sometimes, they just want to have a fight. So he comes home and he just says, Salam alaikum. She doesn't hear anything. And then he goes to her, why didn't you reply salam? I didn't hear you. No, I said salam. I didn't hear you. Oh no, yeah, and then they start a fight for no reason, wallah, no reason. فَإِذَا سَلَّمْتُمْ فَأَسْمِعُوا. And brothers, this is for the brothers, right? It is nice if you can couple those greetings, those salam, with some hugs. No? With some touches. Psychologically proven, they said, not me. The scientists, the people who are experts in this field, they say for a woman to feel secure, she's got to be touched 30 times a day. I didn't say that, wallahi. They said it 30. I don't know why 30. Why not 29? No, 30. Don't do like I did one time. I said, okay, here it is, my wife comes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30. La. She's cooking, for instance. She's cooking, and then you come, Salamu alaikum, how are you? You know, here's a touch right there, you know. And then she's working, and then you come, mashallah, how are you? It's okay, I mean, I'm just using I'm just using. It's just an example, you know. Touches, hugs. I don't know. I mean, it's also sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. You know how he passed away, alayhi salatu wasalam? Rasulullah, my prophet and your prophet, do you know how he died? He died in the lap of Aisha. And she was caressing him, alayhi salatu wasalam. She's playing, he used to come, alayhi salatu wasalam, and lean on her lap. And she is, in fact, having her menses. She's having her menses, and he used to go and lean on her, and he used to go and recite Quran. The Prophet ﷺ. Warm greetings. Salamu alaykum. Kayfa halukum. Praising each other is another thing, inshallah, that will help you increase love amongst you. Praise, mashallah, tabarakallah, you did this, Allahu Akbar, mashallah, you look great, mashallah, this is amazing. She cooks something for you. You don't like it, mashallah, it's good. Very nice, mashallah. Just praise one another. Your husband wants, mashallah, you've been working out, huh? How do you know? I can see your muscles, mashallah. So you're lifting him up, he's trying, right? He's trying, and then maybe you can say something like, you know, I like your belly, mashallah. This, you know, some brothers have this big belly, you know. I like your biryani belly. I can use it to put my jug on it, mashallah. Something like that, you know. Have fun, wallahi, in your marriages. You cannot tell me I'm too old, Shaykh. Maybe my children. Ya akhi, are you better than Rasulullah? You can't be better than Rasulullah. Praising each other, insha'Allah ta'ala, will also improve love amongst you. Not to compare one another. Don't compare your wife or your husband to his friend or to his brother. Don't compare your wife to your mother. You listen? Do not compare your wife to... My mother cooks like... she doesn't cook like that. My mother does it like this. My mother spends like this. My mother like that. Oh, this is not how you do it. My mother does it differently. I did not marry your mother. I married you. You see, this is really, you have to understand, some men, they do this, unfortunately. So, and then she comes and also she compares maybe you to your brother or your friend. You know, look, the way your friend talks to his wife, mashallah, the way he treats it. It's very bad. We don't like that. A man doesn't like that. And also a woman does not like that. So don't compare each other to one another, you know, to different people. You know, alhamdulillah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with a spouse, at-tayyibuna lit-tayyibat. الطيبون للطيبات. You are tayyib, Allah will provide you, inshallah bless you with tayyiba. You are tayyiba, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bless you with somebody who's tayyib. الطيبون للطيبات. والخبيث خبيثات. Khabith, something evil. Those who are bad, Allah will afflict somebody who's bad as well on them. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. Pampering each other. Pampering each other. MashaAllah, you know, cherishing one another. Helping one another. Yani, this is all from the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Pampering each other. Maybe, you know, she wears something nice. MashaAllah, that looks so beautiful on you. Your husband puts some atal. MashaAllah, it smells. You know, it's not the atal who smells. You put the smell on the atal. Something, be creative. I don't know. Be creative, speak nice and pamper each other, inshallah ta'ala. Khalas, you know more secrets about each other than your own parents about you, So this is, alhamdulillah, the halal love. Halal, what I call it? Halal magic. Halal sihr. Sihr is haram, but this one is halal. When she comes, your wife, and she tries to pamper, like the Prophet ﷺ, when he says, when you marry, تُلَاعِبُهَا وَتُلَاعِبُكَ. Marry so that you can play with her, she plays with you, you laugh with her, she laughs with you. This is what life is all about, really. How long are you going to live? 60, 70 years? Have fun with it, enjoy yourselves. I'm dreaming, huh? Okay. Participate in the chores at home. Some brothers, they think they are the ministers of finance. The only thing that they have to take care of is pay the bills. But Rasulullah, alayhi salatu wassalam, as reported by Bukhari, when Aisha, she says, كَانَ فِي خِدْمَةِ أَهْلِهِ فِي الْبَيْتِ. In his home, he was in the service of his wife, alayhi salatu wassalam. When he goes home, he helps, he does things. So participate together in the chores at home. People, brothers, do you know how to cook? No? Yes, no? No? It's okay, cook, yahi. Even if an egg, cook an egg, whatever but participate, clean the dishes, do anything. You don't have snow here, alhamdulillah. We have snow there. Shovel the snow for your wife. Some people, they say, your wife, go shovel the snow for me. Can you imagine? La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Help with each other. That's from the sunnah of Rasulullah, wallahi. Wallah. Kind words, sadaqah, ya akhi. Al-kalima at-tayyiba sadaqah. As the Prophet ﷺ, beautiful word, sadaqah, it's charity. It's a form of worship. A smile in the face of your spouse is sadaqah. Just like you do in sujood, you do in siyam, you do in salah. A smile in the face of your spouse is sadaqah, is worship. Al-kalima at-tayyiba sadaqah. Speak good or be quiet. As the Prophet ﷺ says, "Man kana yu'minu billahi wal yawmil akhir falyaqul khayran aw liyasmut." So say good. Sisters, say good, speak good, or be quiet. Be careful. So, kind words, sadaqah. This woman, she's Arab woman, her husband is a farmer. And he came home one day, he was so sad. And then she tried to comfort him, she tried to speak good to him. What's wrong, honey, habibi, what's wrong? He says, my donkey passed away. He's a farmer. He says, my donkey, and he was so sad because he loves that donkey. Oh, habibi, it's okay. You are better than 100 donkeys. She tried to comfort him, she just spoiled it. You say something good, sister, or be quiet. Brothers, same thing for you. Say good or be quiet. Say something nice. Al-kalima at-tayyiba, sadaqah. Sadaqah, charity, inshaAllah ta'ala. Now, peaceful gathering is so important. It's extremely important. Peaceful gathering. Once a day or so, bring your family together. Your spouse, your children, bring them together. Shut off your phones. Shut off the TV, radio, nothing. And just spend quality time with your family. Talking about issues. Doing stuff. Consulting with each other. Talking to your son, to your daughter, to your wife. It's a family gathering. It's amazing. Try it. I challenge you. Wallahi, try it. Just 5 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes at the most. You can say one hadith, one ayah from the Quran. Today my son will prepare hadith. Tomorrow I will prepare an ayah, and then we discuss it. And then you so on and so forth. You bring in ikhwati, akhawati. Invite the angels to your homes. One sister called me on the phone. She said, Sheikh, I hear noises in my home. Voices. I said, what do you mean? She says, I think I have jinn in my home. I said, okay, sister, can you describe your home to me? Do you have pictures in your home? She says, yes, I have pictures. TV? She says, yes, we got TV. Do you listen to music in your home? She says, music, yes, it's okay, it's halal. I said, excuse me. I said, sister, you pray? She says, yes, my father does. Sister, you put hijab? And then she kept quiet. I said, sister, I think the Qabila jinn is in your home. Not only one. In these our homes, where are the angels? Where are the angels? Because, the angels cannot come to a home whereby the name of Allah is not being mentioned. So how can we invite our angels home? Teach your kids. Teach your spouse. Teach your husband. You come in. Assalamu alaikum. Before you close the door. Bismillah. And then you come, you sit, together. You want to eat. Bismillah. You're inviting angels to your home. Maybe one halaqah. All it takes, like I said, 5-7 minutes. Try it for 1 month. I challenge you all. 1 month. Try it. Wallahi, you will see wonder in your homes. Guaranteed, insha'Allah ta'ala. Show your support. Especially your brothers, to your sister, to your wives. Show your support. Like I said, she left everything, then she come to you. She lives with you now, right? So you've got to be the brother. You've got to be the husband. You've got to be the father. You've got to be the son. You've got to be the friend. You've got to play all these roles, mashallah. I know it's hard, isn't it? But she wants you as a husband. And she also wants you as a father. She also wants you as a son from time to time because she wants to pamper you. Sisters, we men, we're like kids too, We also like to be pampered. Don't worry, when your husband, he acts like he's just playing games. He likes to be pampered. I'm telling you, okay? I'm guaranteed. He likes to be, just speak good to him, inshallah ta'ala, he will cool down. So, show your support, inshallah ta'ala, for one another. Break the routine. What does that mean, break the routine? Every day the same thing, akhi. You come home, salamu alaikum, food ready, food is ready, you eat, you go to sleep, salamu alaikum, alaikum salam. You wake up in the morning, you pray, salamu alaikum, alaikum salam, you go to work. You come back, salamu alaikum salam, food, yeah, food ready. Take care, TK, yes, go back, and then, oh man, it's not fun. Break the routine. From time to time, surprise your wife. From time to time, surprise your husband. I normally ask questions. I go around, I ask questions. Like I ask the sisters or the brothers, how do you want your wife to surprise you? Or how do you want your husband to surprise you? One sister, she says, I want him to surprise me by calling me at home one day, and he would say, pack up your bags. I said, oh, you want me to go home, yani? Oh, pack up your bags. He says, no, pack up your bags. We're going for Umrah. Surprise. How do you want your wife to surprise you? No? You don't want to talk about it. You see? One brother told me, most brothers, to cook a good meal for me. To just cook a good meal for me. That's how I want. Surprise. Break the routine, akhi. It's okay to write some notes, love notes. Is that haram, Sheikh? It's okay, Sheikh, from time to time. MashaAllah, you look beautiful. Or then she opens a letter, she has a purse, she opens her purse, then she finds a letter. She picks up the letter. Who's writing me a letter? What's going on? And then she finds, and then she opens, and then MashaAllah, flowers, hearts, and roses, and chocolate, and then a small message from her husband. I just want to say how much I love you, or how much I care about you. Yes, akhi, it's all right, wallahi. Make some, spice up your lives. I don't know, maybe Malaysia, I don't know. Be honest with one another. It's so important, sisters, brothers. You've got to be honest with one another. You've got a problem, you discuss it, but ladies and gentlemen, not in front of your kids. Never. If you have any conflict, you want to talk about it, not in front of your children. You go somewhere and then you talk to your wife alone so that your kids don't see these conflicts happening, and then they grow up with this complex, with this sickness, lack of self-esteem, seeing their parents fighting all the time. So be honest. You've got a feeling, tell her, tell him. Wallahi, I'm sorry, I want to tell you, I have an issue about the way you spoke to me today in front of my dad, or in front of my children. Oh, I didn't mean it. I just felt that, I'm just telling you how I feel. Be honest with each other. Beautiful names. Use beautiful names. Call her, call him with the most beautiful names. Sunnah from the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet ﷺ used to call his wife, Ya Aish, to pamper her. Ya Ayush. Ya Humayra. Humaira, blondie, with red cheeks. She didn't have red cheeks, but he used to pamper her. Ya Ayush, Ya Aish. Beautiful names. So if your wife, she wants to be called honey, call her honey. Cream cheese, call her cream cheese. Whatever she wants to be called. If he wants to be called, you are the boss, call him a boss. Whatever, just call her. It's Fulan, Allan, it's fun, inshallah. Use these beautiful names. Do you say that in your language? Or no? Names like nicknames or? Okay. Don't talk about your problems at time of going to bed. Sisters, I'm sorry, but I have to tell you, this is mostly for you. Don't talk about your problems at the time of going to bed. As soon as we go to sleep, I'm about, to try to relax, and then she's got a bunch of bills and problems, and she, and your husband, miskeen, he wants to relax. He's not going to sleep after you tell him all the problems. La. If you go home, in your bed, inshallah ta'ala, in your bedroom, try to make it such a very pleasant evening. So don't talk about your problems or any problems at the time of going to bed. Thank each other. It's okay. Jazakallah khair. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing that. You thank each other. She thanks you. You thank her. Inshallah ta'ala, that's in fact something that would, inshallah ta'ala, improve love amongst you. Apologize at the time of making mistakes. If you make a mistake, there's nothing wrong about saying, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. In this Muslim country, wallahi, it's a true story. In this Muslim country, there was this man who oppressed his wife. He really oppressed her. And then she started crying. All of a sudden, who came to visit them? Her parents. SubhanAllah, they came to visit her. She went to open the door. She was crying. And then the father says, okay, what's wrong? Why are you crying? Did he do anything to you? But she was so smart. She said, no, I was thinking about you. I missed you. And I started crying. Her husband heard that. She went, she cooked, she brought, and she sat down just like nothing happened. And her husband is witnessing and watching and seeing this, and then he felt so bad. He went out, he bought her a very beautiful gift. He came back and he said, I am really sorry. You taught me one of the best lessons ever, but I'm sorry, really, I apologize. And he gave her that present. Apologize. If you make a mistake, do apologize. I'm almost done. Respect one another. Respect one another. A marriage without respect means nothing. I'm telling you, it will destroy the marriage. So you've got to respect one another. Show respect to one another. Pray, fast, play together. Like the Prophet ﷺ used to do with Aisha. They used to run together. He used to raise her. Don't tell me I'm too old. He used to raise her. And he used to have fun with her. They used to take bath from the same tub. Wallahi. Go to Hadith Bukhari. Go to Bukhari, my brothers. Go to Muslim. You will find it all there. They used to take bath from the same vessel, from the same bath. And you know what? Let me tell you more. The Prophet used to take some water and then he would splash Aisha. And Aisha, she was splashing back just like pillow fights. And they will play with water together. Him and his wife. My home is closed. Whenever I go home, I close my door. So would you. When you go home, you close your door because that's your privacy. It's your home. But the Prophet's home is always open. This is how we learn these things. Through the hadith of Aisha and others, we learn how the Prophet used to treat his wife, inside and out. So play, fast together, pray together, do qiyam al-layl together. You wake her up. The Prophet ﷺ in hadith sahih, he says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala smiles. Allah. Inna Allah yabtasim. Yadhak hatta fi hadith. He smiles. He smiles in a way that befits His Majesty. Do not compare or resemble Him to you. How does He smile? You cannot say that. And the hadith says Allah smiles. He smiles in a way that befits His Majesty subhanahu. But He does smile. So we affirm that Allah yadhak, yabtasim. He smiles. The Prophet ﷺ says that Allah smiles of a wife, a spouse, who wakes up her husband in the middle of the night. She wakes him up to pray with her. And then if he doesn't want to wake up, she takes some water and then she splashes it on him. Wake up, Habibi, wake up. Let's go pray together. It makes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala smile. When was the last time you prayed Qiyam al-Layl with your wife? A tough one, isn't it? too old for that. Don't keep looking for each other's mistakes. It will destroy your marriage. As the Prophet ﷺ says. Maybe you may not like something, but she's got so many other things that you will like and love. And so, and vice versa as well. Don't pick on just each other's, just scrutinize for mistakes that she commits or that you commit or whatnot. Give your spouse time out. You know time out that you give to your kids? Give it to your wife. Because you're the man. What I mean is, sometimes she needs that time out by herself. Take the kids, go and give her that time by herself to recharge. She really needs that time. Don't be stubborn. Don't be stubborn. That is the destroyer, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen. Do not be stubborn. And that's what shaitan wants, and that is the last thing, inshaAllah ta'ala. Do not be stubborn. This is in fact the destroyer of marriage, because that's what the shaitan wants. In hadith in Sahih Muslim, when the shaitan comes and he sits with the other shayateen and they give him the reports. So one shaitan says to the master shaitan, he says, I made one man commit zina. Another says, I made this woman, remove al hijab. Another one says, I made this man, drink alcohol. So he listens to them. And then one shaitan comes and he says, I made this man and woman separate. And then the big shaitan calls him and he says, Anta, you, come. And he makes him sit next to him. In Sahih Muslim. This shaitan is the most beloved shaitan for the big shaitan. The shaitan who separates between, and this is how it is. Just for an argument of nonsense, and then he goes to you, whisper, saying, you're the man. You have to have the last word. And then he goes to her, and then he whispers, tell him if he's a man, tell him to divorce you. Divorce me if you're the man. And then he goes, and he just starts whispering. Don't be stubborn. The Prophet ﷺ says in this very beautiful hadith, reported also by Ahl Sunan, very classified as strong, authentic hadith, sound hadith. The Prophet ﷺ told the Sahaba one day, don't you want me to tell you about a woman from Jannah? Sisters, listen up to this one. Don't you want me to tell you about a woman from Jannah? The Prophet said to the Sahaba, do you want me to tell you about a woman from Jannah? The Sahaba said, yes, tell us about a woman from Jannah. The Prophet says, it is a woman whose husband has oppressed. Imra'a ظلمها زوجها. A woman whose husband has oppressed. And then before she goes to sleep, she reaches out with her hand to him and then she says, I will not go to sleep tonight until you are pleased with me. That woman is from Jannah. Why? Because it's not easy. You are the problem maker. You're the one who oppressed her. Yet, she steps on her desires, on her back, on the back of the shaitan to come to you, and she touches you and she reaches out and then she says, shake my hand, let's have this, let's reconciliate. I will not go to sleep tonight unless you're pleased with me. You see, that woman is from Jannah. She's not stubborn. So do not be stubborn. It will really destroy your marriage. And ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, last but not least, ponder, contemplate the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Really, contemplate the sunnah of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. How he used to treat his wife. One time, as in this reported in the seerah of Ibn Hisham, and in the hadith of Bukhari and Muslim, when the Prophet Aisha, she came to him and she told him, Ya Rasulullah, tell me about the time when you had the most difficult hardship. The most difficult hardship. And then he told her, it is a time when I went to At-Ta'if. That's the time when I went to At-Ta'if, and then the people, they threw rocks at me, and the kids, they were coming and running after me, throwing things at me. So he was telling her about the Ta'if. As he was telling her the story of At-Ta'if, and then the Prophet stood up, he went and he got a cup of milk, and then he came to her and he says, Aisha, please drink. And then he says, Ya Rasulullah, you drink first. And then he says, no, I would like you to drink first. So she drank from the cup of milk, and then he took the water, that cup, and then he turned it from the same spot where she drank from, and then he drank from it too. He brought some meat. He says, Aisha, please have a bite. And then she had a bite, and then he took the piece of meat from the same spot where she had that bite, and then he had a bite too, alayhi salatu wassalam. He went out one night to take care of his needs. He came back. She locked the doors. She said, no, it's my night. I won't let you in. Why did you go see her? Meaning his other wife. He says, Ya Aisha, wallahi, I didn't go see nobody. I just went to take care of my need. She's a woman. She has this ghira in her. It's fine. This is how they are. So she came and she locked the door on who? On Rasulullah. On Rasulullah. Yeah. You see, she's a woman. And the Prophet says, no, Aisha, don't misunderstand me. Wallahi, I didn't do that. I did not go see anybody. I know it's your night. I'm going to give it to you. I went to the toilet. This is what I went. I just went to take care of my need. That's what I went. You see. So contemplate the seerah of the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. You will learn so much, insha'Allah ta'ala, on how to treat one another. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all. So I know maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow morning, all the flower shops will be, mashallah, you'll have all these. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam says in Bukhari Muslim, the most beloved deeds in the sight of Allah, those deeds that are continuous. أحب الأعمال إلى الله أدومها ولو قل. The most beloved deeds in the sight of Allah, those deeds that are continuous, even if they are minor, even if they are trivial, but continuous. Don't give her a flower tonight and then she won't see the flower until the next 10 years. Don't do that. From time to time, treat each other, insha'Allah ta'ala. Cherish one another. Pamper each other. Try to contemplate the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ. Insha'Allah ta'ala, bi'idhnillah. You don't want your spouse to be your spouse or your husband or your wife in this dunya. But you want her to be your wife where? Also in Jannah. In Jannah, you tell her, when you go to sleep, sister, do you tell your wife, do you tell your husband, do you tell him, Assalamu alaikum. I may not see you tonight, or I may not see you when I wake up or when you wake up tomorrow. I may die, but I want you, insha'Allah ta'ala, to be my husband in Jannah. Please forgive me. Let's forgive each other before we go to sleep. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you so much for your time. Barakallahu fikum. May Allah bless you and bless your kids and bless this gathering. And I want to extend my thank to those brothers who are responsible, who have made this possible. Jazakumullah khair for your time. Thank you so much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.